Hello and welcome to this demo video. Before we get started, I'd just like to explain to you a few things which will relate to all of the basic range spreadsheets. Number one, there is a key on the intro and setup tab of all of the spreadsheets showing what the different color headers mean. The blue headers mean that the cell's formulated, so it's locked and you can't change it. The yellow headers are where you can input data, and occasionally there might be some gray headers, which is just a different kind of data input, but we'll include instructions as and when that happens. The other thing that you can be aware of is there are ways in which you can damage the spreadsheet. So please do take a look at the link where you see this image, which will take you to a web page to show you how to better preserve your spreadsheet. Please feel free to keep a blank version of the spreadsheet somewhere, so that if you do mess up a spreadsheet that you're using, you can in fact just open a new one, a blank one. And some of the spreadsheets only last for a year, and then you've got a blank one to start the following year. So do keep a blank copy as a backup somewhere. And lastly, wherever you see this image, you can click on it. It'll take you back to the store where you purchased this product to see if you've got anything, any more products. One last thing, to see a demo video, you can click on this on a link that looks like this in order to go to the demo video, but that'll take you to the most recent demo. If in fact we've done upgrades and you're using an older version and you'd like to see the demo relating to your version, then do click on the watch on YouTube link, which will take you to that specific video on YouTube. So I think that's all you need to know. So without further ado, let's move on to this demo video. Thank you.
Right, hello and welcome to this demo video. This demo video is for the spreadsheet pin art template. Now, the reason why I've made this is because I made one or two of these kind of images and I post them on social media, where I've made a kind of what they call pin art, which essentially came from knocking nails into a board and then joining up the nails with different color string to create these kind of images. And I made a few of these using Excel graphs, as this one does, and posted them on social media. I've received quite a bit of feedback, especially after the last one. Two questions that people have been asking. Number one, how do I do it? And number two, can I teach them how to do it, or to teach them so they can show their kids and they can have a bit of time doing these kind of things on using Excel. The very short answer, as far as how do I do it, it's quite involved. It's quite tricky with some graphs. If you are an advanced Excel user, you'll be able to do it, but for novices, it's quite difficult. So what I've done in order to help the second part, can I teach them how to do it, is I've actually made a template to do this. So let's close that one down. Let's have a look at this new template that I've made to help you to make those images. First of all, put your name in here. That doesn't do anything. It just goes to the final result tab. Actually, the other spreadsheets have got my surname in as well, so let's put that in. If you put your name in there, that's all you need to do to set up. The first thing you do then is you go to the pin placement. So this is where you need to put all those pins in order to say where you want to join up. So you really want to put the pins outlining your chosen image. So first and foremost, I've left this graph unlocked. So if you click on it, not in the middle, if you click on the middle, it highlights that middle section. You want to click towards the outside where it gets the whole thing. And if you say format, right click and say format chart area, and instead of having a fill, go to a picture or textured fill. Now that picture automatically pops in because I've already selected it, but if you go, it won't do so for you. For you, you need to go to insert, from a file, go to the folder where your picture is selected and click on it. Now this is a picture that I've pre-created, so you'll need to pre-create some kind of picture. It needs to be square in order to fit into this graph, otherwise it's going to be distorted. And not only does it need to be square, it needs to be fairly simple. If you go really intricate, you've got a lot of pins to put in different locations. Obviously the more intricate you go, the better it could potentially look, but you've got to keep in mind you need to join up these pins to make the different images. So you want something that's fairly straightforward to do, especially if it's your first one. Alright, then what you need to do is you need to use these cells here to plot the pins. So you want to put the pins around the outside of the heart, and you want to put the pins around the outside of the U. So the first one I'm going to do is look on the x-axis, heart bang in the middle. So if we go x-axis and we say 50, the graph will have up to 100. So you can put in any value up to 100, and you can put in decimal places, so you can really pin these pins accurately. So let's just try 50, but I need to put in the second axis. So this is the y-axis. So if we put in, say, 90, you see the pin's right there. So we want to get the pin right in the corner, in the point of that heart there. So if we go to, say, 88, maybe 88.2, there we go. Now we want to put the pins all the way around the heart. So if the next one we put in, if we put in the same one again, and just this time just go 55, say, and 85. Whoop, that's not right. 90, 94. There we go. So now you want to try and put the pins. Now, how close do you put them? How far apart do you put them? Well, that all depends on you. Obviously, you've got 60 pins, so you need to make sure you've got enough to do everything you need to do. The closer they are together, the more string you'll have, the more the more compact your color will be. The further apart you have, the fewer strings you have, the more white you'll have seeping through the color. It all depends on what you want to do, how you want to do it. I wouldn't put them too close together, and I'll show you why on the next tab. Now, if you're working with something that's symmetrical and you've put that pin in, so if you want to find the opposing pin on the other side, and this actually is symmetrical because I tested it earlier, you can actually look at what you've put in here and calculate what you need to do here. So the height on the y-axis is exactly the same. So if we put 94 in again, but because we had 55, so 100 minus 55 is 45, that will then put the pin on the same side of the heart. So if you do half of the heart and you want it symmetrical, even if your image isn't symmetrical, you can just mathematically work out where the other ones are, place those two, and then you've got a perfectly symmetrical product. And once you've pasted all the pins all the way around, I'm going to move over to the second spreadsheet where I've done that. There we go. Once you've placed all the pins all the way around all of the items, then what you need to do is very simply come underneath this blue section, select the grey block, right click, copy, right click, paste values. Not normal paste, but normal paste will ruin the spreadsheet. Paste values. That'll take a minute to do its thing. This is why I put the paste on. I did originally have this locked automatically connected to the next page, but it just, every time you adjusted one of these pins, it just took ages to reload, so I've separated it. So now it's quick to do the pins, and when you're finished, you can do that copy and paste values. And once you've done that, what this does is it plots all of your pins on the next page, pin with the numbers where they are located, but this time it's made them bigger so you can actually see the numbers. And this is another reason why I said don't get them too close together, because you won't be able to see what's going on here. And this is where you can put your string. So how does this work? The gray cells, they're blanked out, you're not using them, don't worry about them. There you've got numbers down the side and you've got numbers across the top. So where you want to join pin number 1, we start down the left and we start at 1 because the numbers work downwards. So if you join pin 1 with pin 2, you then don't need to join pin 2 with pin 1 because it's already joined, if that makes sense. So start with a lower number, so 1. Now what we need to do, and if you want to, you can come here and say view, freeze panes, and then when you scroll across, you can still see the numbers. So now we come here and we say, okay, pin number 1 is over here. Which pins do we want pin number 1 to join with, and what color do we want it to be? So for argument's sake, pin number 1 can join with pin 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Pin number 1 can basically join up with every single pin number within the heart. You don't want it to go up beyond that. You don't want it to go up beyond 19, but you want it to go up to 18. So pin number 1 must join with 2 all the way across to 18. So if we go pin number 1, you can see here they're slightly distorted. You can't really make out sometimes the second letter because of that, but you can see what order they're in here. So it's basically the second last one, the RE. If you select the RE, give that a minute. This will take a while as well. Now what it does is it will join up 1 and 2 with the red string. But now we know we need that to go all the way across. So instead of selecting each one and letting it load, what we do is I just put a copy and then go all the way across. We're going to go all the way across to number 18, right click, paste values, and let that do its thing. And then what you'll see is you'll see number 1 will actually connect up with all of the different there we go, connects up with all of them. And then you do the same for number 2, but now number 2 connects, it doesn't need to connect with 1, it already does, so you only have to connect it with higher numbers. So it connects with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Does it connect with these ones here? No, it doesn't, because then it's going to go across there, and you don't want it to go across there. You want it to go down to number 18 possibly. So it connects all the way around to 10, but then it doesn't connect with the other ones, and possibly 18. So then what we do is we've already copied that. If we go from here all the way across, from all the way down to 10 and then 18, so it doesn't connect with those, right click, paste values. Then what it does is it does number 2, and it'll connect number 2 up with all ones. Now I know this takes a little bit of a while to do, but there's a lot going on in the background. This is all the work I've basically helped you to avoid doing, is all being done automatically in the background. Right, and there we go. So number 2 has now connected up with all them, and you basically go around doing that for all the different numbers. Now it gets tricky when you get when you've done most of them and you can't really see where they are, but you just got to keep your wits about you. Go through each number at a time, connect them all up. Alternatively, what I could have done here excuse me, depending on the image, I could have done all of these first. So I could have just come from 2 all the way up to 18 and gone connect everything with everything and filled this whole section here up with RE, and then go through and remove the ones that I didn't want. That one gets a little bit tricky, because when you're trying to remove stuff you don't want, it's difficult to see which ones are connected and where the strings are actually going. So this way I find is easier to actually go through one number at a time, connecting them up. Now again, if you wanted to change color, and if you want to do this in a black or something, you could then, when you got down here, say connecting 19 and 20, so if I connect 19 here and 20 there, instead of then selecting red, I just select black, and that will then start to join up 19 with 20. There we go. And you can see it does take a while to do each one. So instead of doing each one individually, if you do one and then copy and paste values, as I said, it pretty much takes the same time to load 20 as it does to load 1. Once you've done that, and you've got all that together, let's have a look at the next spreadsheet. That's one I've gone through. You can see the kind of layout of the text. Those are the bits that's missing of the heart. And then you can see here where the U was a little bit more tricky to do. But once you've got that all done and you've connected up everything with all the other numbers, that's it. You can then click on the final result, and there you'll have your pin art along with your name and all the rest of it. This you can do a screen grab, copy the screen and trim that image, and there you've got yourself your pin art that you've made based on the string that you've selected here, the different colors. There you can see the codes for the colors and what they are. Here you can select them, and then you've obviously, after having done your pin placement, just remember to do that copy and paste values. If you don't do that, these pins won't appear on the spreadsheet. I hope that makes sense. I hope that's helpful to you. If this is something you want to do, this should make it a lot easier than trying to do it from scratch, because I've done all the hard work behind the scenes. But as you can see, there is still a bit of work for you to do. There's still a bit of plotting of the pins and the connecting up, and it's not easy. You do have to keep your wits about you, but this way at least it makes it possible. If you had to create graphs and all the rest of it as well, which the part I've already done for you, it would probably take this out of most people's grasp. So I hope that that's helpful to you. And if you do use this and you do make some images, please do, if you're connected with me on social media, please do tag me in it. I'd love to see them, what you've come up with. And yeah, I wish you all the best. Thank you. Bye-bye.